time for the third film inside of the MCU, Iron Man 2. Rushed to production after the success of the first Iron Man, Iron Man 2 debuted in theaters in 2010, and is notoriously known as one of the worst early MCU films. I actually considered it one of my least favorite MCU films of all time. Do I still hold that feeling? No. But today I'm going to give you my review on Iron Man 2. Before I dive in, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, and comment down below. What are your opinions on Iron Man 2? Have you rewatched it recently? Did you like it when it came out? Did you not like it when it came out? Again, same story for the first Iron Man. I was raised in a protective environment as a child, so I wasn't able to watch these movies until I turned 13. And then when I turned 13, I watched this movie one day, and I was like, this is terrible. And I watched it the next, like, there's no way Iron Man 2 is that bad. It was that bad. But I'm going to come out and say it. I think something's wrong with me. I rewatched the first Iron Man. I thought it was a little bit boring, a little bit pretentious. I watched this movie, and I had an absolute blast with Iron Man 2. Look, I had a good enough time with this movie just because it's more adventures with Tony Stark. I like this character, I like Robert Downey Jr., so any movie with Tony Stark in it is a blast, whether he is part of the Avengers, or in a solo story by himself, or in Captain America Civil War, or just popping in as a cameo in Spider-Man Homecoming. He is a blast, he will always be a blast, and I just absolutely love this character. And I know a lot of people like to complain about his arc, the way he goes down, but I think Iron Man's arc in this movie is pretty genuinely compelling, because I mean, it's a second superhero movie in a franchise, right? You look at Spider-Man 2, what happens? Spider-Man loses his powers. You look at Venom 2, what happens? Venom loses his powers. I don't know why I compared Spider-Man 2 and Venom 2 right next to each other, but okay. Let's just go with that. Look at Iron Man 2, Iron Man loses his powers. And Superman 2, Superman loses his powers. Every second superhero movie, they lose their powers, and I thought this was a pretty compelling way to do it, having the arc reactor start killing him, and it made way for some very emotional moments along the way that we'll talk to here in a bit. But also, along with Tony Stark, I just love this supporting cast as well. Gwyneth Paltrow has a lot to do here, and I genuinely loved her character arc in here. Jon Favreau as Happy Hogan, he was just basically, had maybe like one line in the first Iron Man, and he is a character here, and I really do like that, because Happy Hogan is one of my favorite characters in the MCU. I wouldn't say favorite, but like side characters in the MCU. He's definitely up there. You also got the introduction of Black Widow in here, which I don't think is great. I think they could have handled that a little bit better. That's mainly because I'm not a big fan of Scarlett Johansson, and, you know, maybe I'm not the biggest fan of her character as a whole, but she's much more developed along the line, why I do like her along the way. But in this movie, she's okay, but it is cool to see her, and Nick Fury's in there as well, and if Samuel L. Jackson pops in as Nick Fury, I mean, obviously I'm going to have a fantastic time, right? So, the whole cast of characters is just awesome. I think there's some also really awesome action sequences in here. The racetrack sequence is a good bit of fun. I mean, had some intense moments. I was invested the whole time. Good action sequence. And then the finale is set at a pretty location when they're shooting all the robots. I like the style of that fight. And along the other fights along the way. There's not a whole lot of fights in this movie. There's not a whole lot of action. That's one of the big negatives here. But I was invested in the story because, number one, I like these characters. And number two, as a whole, I think Iron Man 2 just focuses on being more fun. And I had fun with the movie. It's goofy, it's campy, it's a wild ride, and it's fun. I forgot to mention the villains. You got Mickey Rourke as Ivan Vanko, who, you know, he's just there. I mean, his character kind of has some development, but not really. He's more like just there, like, oh, I want my Boyd. Give me my Boyd. Can I have my Boyd? I don't think that's a Russian accent, but give me my freaking Boyd, man. But I mean, Justin Hammer's awesome. I just talked about Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, where Sam Rockwell's the lead, and he's just incredibly charismatic, and he's incredibly charismatic as here, as a villain that you just genuinely want to punch right across the face, but he also is funny, he has fun moments. I like the villain of Justin Hammer, and that's a big reason why I had fun, because his performance is just fun, and I want to see more of him inside the MCU. Armor Wars, is that still a thing? Is Armor Wars still coming out? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Somebody tell me in the comment section if Armor Wars is still coming out, but Sam Rockwell's going to be in that. And I'm looking forward to that because I like the character of Justin Hammer. And that just adds to the fun factor where, like I said, this movie is a movie where I have fun. It has too many plot lines. It has dumb moments. But it's a movie that I sat down and I watched and I was like, you know what? I'm not bored. I'm pretty entertained. And I think if the biggest problem of an MCU movie is that you are setting too much stuff up, that's kind of a win. Where you look at today's day and age MCU and you've got all these projects and all these characters and you're not really setting anything up. You don't even set up the Avengers movie that's coming at the end of the year until last year with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. So a problem setting too much stuff up, I'm not too bothered by. There are some plot lines you could definitely cut out 110%, but I think most of them are effective and do work. I like the plot line, like I said, about Tony losing his powers. And I like how they resolved that with his dad and stuff with that. Because, I mean, a lot of people complain that, oh, we don't want to see Tony Stark and have problems with his dad. But I find that really compelling and having some really emotional moments. So I thought that was pretty compelling. Obviously, I like setting up the Avengers because it's the Avengers, man. And seeing all these characters coming together as a cinematic universe is awesome. And it always will be awesome. And setting up too much stuff is a problem that I'm okay with having inside the movie, even though there are a ton of things that definitely could have been cut out. Along those lines, like I mentioned, there are some very dumb moments. You definitely could have cut some sequences out. Rhodey is in here. I forgot to mention Rhodey as well. I'm forgetting a lot of characters in this video, but Rhodey, he's not played by Terrence Howard anymore starting in this movie. He's played by Don Cheadle, who I love, and I like his character and his character arc in here. I will say, when he gets introduced into this movie, it is completely stupid.
I'm only gonna say this once. Get out.
Like, dude, do you think you're tough or something? Like, you look goofy in that suit. If I was one of the party goers, I would just be like, boo! Get out of here! Take this thing, just throw it at him. I just had that sitting there. I don't know why. I just threw it across my entire studio. But, whatever. His introduction is goofy, and just moments like that are goofy, campy. The villain of Whiplash is obviously not utilized, and there are too many plot lines. There are, like I said, some things you can cut out. So it's not a perfect movie. It is a very flawed movie, but I will say I had an absolute blast watching it. Before I give you my final score of Iron Man 2, I would appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button, the like button, and the bell so you never miss another video in the Marvel Cinematic Universe Road to Doomsday review series. And with that said, Iron Man 2 is a ton of fun. I like hanging out with these characters. There's some cool action sequences. And if your biggest problem is you set too much stuff up in this day and age in the MCU, that's a problem I'm willing to have when the MCU doesn't really set anything else up. I want to give it an A-. Probably critically it deserves like a B-. I'm going to settle the difference and I'm going to go a B+ for Iron Man 2. It's crazy. I used to hate this movie and I just had such a good time watching it this last time. I might need to check my brain, but I used to love Iron Man and I wasn't really into that rewatch, so whatever. Next up is Thor. I rewatched Thor. It sucks. I got a lot of things to say about Thor, so stay tuned for Thor review coming very soon. And with that said, subscribe.